Zuhdi Jasser is with us. Now, Zuhdi is a frequent guest on our program. May I say that Zuhdi is a moderate Muslim, eager for participation in American society. Zuhdi Jasser was in the American Navy for 11 years. I have to ask you this, Zuhdi. There are now strident calls in America to, at least temporarily, ban all Muslim immigration. That must be tough on guys like you.
Well, you know, listen, Stuart, not only is it tough, I mean, I have family that were struggling to get out from Aleppo, from areas that are being carpet bombed and victims of chemical weapons and of ISIS. But I think we should stop all immigration until we vet the ideology. Being Muslim is an idea, and until we vet the idea of Islamism, we are going to continue to be a threat. But we have to get this right. I'm not, you know me well, Stuart, you know I'm not a defender of political correctness. I think it's the evil that is preventing the reform that I need to happen. But, you know, as other candidates have said, we need to be correct. It's not about political correctness, it's about being correct. And America, if any country, understands the need for religious freedom, for religious liberty against theocracy. And right now, Muslims are fighting against theocracy. And if we just say it's all about all Muslims, you're actually going to alienate the very people who you need to solve this problem within the communities of Mozambique and others. And by the way, Stuart, the ones that are committing these acts, Abdus was a French citizen. So the immigration issue, he was a citizen who's been there for a long time. The problem actually we're finding in over 90% of these attacks is those who get radicalized while living in boroughs within communities that are not being assimilated and reformed.
A lot of people have been asking, why have we not seen this kind of mass attack in America, other than 9/11 and San Bernardino? Got it. But there's not been that kind of attack that closes down a city or a state at this point. And people are saying that's because local Muslims, American Muslims, are, by and large, cooperating with the authorities. But they're not. Local Muslims are not cooperating very much, certainly in Belgium and France. There is a difference there, Zuhdi.
Absolutely, and the difference has to do with the trajectory and the slope. Europe has a much bigger chasm between political Islam and its assimilation of immigrants as far as being free and becoming German, becoming French, becoming Dutch or Belgian. But Americans embrace, my family felt American the moment they came here and escaped political persecution in Syria in 1966. But having said that, we're headed in the same direction. Why? Because we aren't targeting the ideology of Islamism. Because we are not, because of political correctness, anyone who says the things I do is targeted as a bigot against Muslims, is targeted as Islamophobic, etc. Until we get beyond that, our trajectory is headed in the same place as Europe, but just much slower because we are insulated from our first freedom, which protects Muslims to feel that they can be American.
Would you like to see President Obama label this as Islamic terror when he speaks today in about less than an hour from Cuba?
Absolutely. He should call it Islamist terror, that the threat is political Islam, Islamism. We need to embrace reformers who believe in liberty, identify in secular governance, mention the Muslim reform movement and stop the apologetics, but also embrace Muslims as needing to be part of the solution. But Islamism, whether it be from Iran, ISIS, Muslim Brotherhood, Saudi Arabia, as being the cauldrons that brew these radicals across the world.
Last one, Zuhdi. I hear a lot this morning that are at war. There is a war between the West and Islam. You going to go for that?
That's what I've been saying, is that there's a war between the West and Islamism, that there's a war between liberty and theocracy. And yes, the immigrants who want to come here to defeat secular governance are our enemies, just like in the Cold War. We checked off, are you a member of the Communist Party? We knew the communists, whether they were nonviolent or not, were not our allies. Today, the Islamists who believe in the Islamic State, not only ISIS, but any Islamic State, are not our allies. Muslims that want to be free and democratize and secularize their societies are our greatest allies, and we need to be able to thread that needle.
Zuhdi Jasser, as always, thank you very much for joining us, sir. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.